All right, so I have Bob and Karen Bowker here. I'm going to get you all in the picture. Bob and Karen Bowker here to do today's giving moment. And so I just have a couple of questions for you. What are some of your earliest memories of giving in the church?
Well, when I was a kid, of course, my parents would give us money to put in the plate. But then when I was confirmed, about 13, my mom and dad said, now you're an adult in the church, you need to give of your money. And I was at the time just babysitting for 50 cents an hour, 1950s. It's a lot more now. But I had to start giving out of my money, and I didn't like it much, but I did it. And so they taught me a lesson there.
Oh boy, but the necessity of giving. And how about you, Bob?
Well, mine was entirely different than Karen's. My father was Catholic and he never went to church. My mother was Episcopal and we went occasionally. So I really didn't have a youth growing up. I did go and get confirmed and that sort of thing. But basically, when I met Karen and we decided to get married, and she sort of taught me what it was and what she'd been doing all along. And I bought into the program and thought it was a really good thing.
So what are your motivations for giving? Why do you give?
I give because if you feel that everything you have is from God, how can you not give back? Mm-hmm. And, you have to do it with joy in your heart. So you have to really search yourself and pray about it.
I see.
And I know, and I don't know where in the Bible it is, but I know that it says God loves a cheerful giver.
It's all about joy.
And it's about joy. It's about, giving from your heart that you want to give, that it's important to give to support the entire mechanism that is the church.
And how do you all decide what to give?
Well, that basically comes from Karen. Karen has always been the one that watched over the money. She's always been the one that was tighter with money than I was. My father was a spender and I inherited that from him. So Karen controlled the monies and we would talk about it. Karen would throw a number out and we'd discuss it and pray about it. And that's what we'd end up giving.
Okay. So if somebody is giving is not kind of a normal practice for them, do you have any good advice for a person that's trying to learn how to give and wants to give, but isn't sure how to give?
First of all, pray. And maybe start small. Every dollar you give helps. Mm-hmm. And I've told you before that I tested God, and I'd say, okay, we go to the movie this week, we spend this much, let's give that much to church. And lo and behold, I'd find more money in my checking account. It would just like appear if one bill was less than it was usually. And then next step, what would I spend going out to dinner? And okay, well, let's give that. And I know you're not supposed to test God that way, but every time I did it, he would bless me more.
Wonderful. Yeah. So can you give more than just money?
There's a lot of things you can give, your time and your talents. There are so many things within the church that people do, setting up and doing the slides, taking down the communion elements, setting up the communion elements, participating as a volunteer at Hill Country Community Ministries, or there are other units around here, but that happens to be one we support. And where money for them is good, it's also good to participate. And they need so many people out there with the things they get in and what they can put in the store and give. I know there's a number of things. Hill Country is not about making a major profit. They make enough to pay the bills that they have. An example of it is a number of times while I was volunteering there, I saw brand new women's shoes in the box that they came in with a $75 price tag on the end, and they would sell it for $12 to $15. So they made something off of it, but if somebody could come in that could not afford the $75, but could have what would be a really nice shoe that people would look at and say, wow, that's a really nice shoe. And they would be able to get it because they had the $10 or $12 or $15 to do. And there was a number of things that were that.
So you might be able to give some things that you have lying around the house that you don't use anymore.
Absolutely.
But somebody else would find it something important.
A treasure for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have seen people shopping in there and they saw things and they were almost like a kid at Christmas. They look at this and they say, this is exactly what I wanted, but I couldn't buy it new.
Any final advice for people?
Well, I was taught, look at your checkbook and find out where your heart is.
Okay, that
And
tells you a lot about how you spend your money.
It does. It tells you a lot. And I would say search your heart, search your what you're able to give. This is a church community that you love, and you need to support it.
Okay.
And apportionments too. I mean, give through apportionments to UMCOR and the various ministries there. People need your help.
Absolutely. And we can give and help others.
And pray.
Thank you so much, Bob and Karen.
Our pleasure.